Hello, this is Sunday Sessions Live. I'm not sure with the algorithms on Facebook at what point it starts recording, so hopefully we're live now. I hope everyone's safe and sound, and really want to apologise for my lack of visibility this week. It's been an absolutely crazy workhorse of a week. But I'm going to make it up to you this week. I'm going to start posting some gems for you during the week. What is going on? I'll get this down pat soon enough. I definitely will get this down pat soon enough. All right. So what I want to talk to you today, it was a conversation that I had during the week with a really lovely woman who's struggling with a dating pattern of dating emotionally distant partners. She confided in me that she's never really been in relationships with anyone where she's ever felt any real love, and now she's with somebody who's changed all of that, and she started to feel all of those beautiful emotions, and she's wanting to but it's creating an anxiety within her that she might lose him because she suddenly started to get the very thing that she wants. So what she did was she shared all of her emotions and how she felt, and he became emotionally distant again, which triggered all of her insecurities. So what started happening was that now he's emotionally distancing and she's being triggered. She started to read into all these different messages about how he's being emotionally distant. Sorry, I'm getting different messages coming up here, so my mind's not focusing. Let me recalibrate. Okay, so she was in this relationship and she started to share all of her emotions and how she became really feeling for him, and it's triggered all of her emotionally insecurities again. And now that he's being very distant with her, and she's reading into all sorts of meanings about the text messages that she's getting. She's counting all the hours since he's been in touch with her, and she's making all sorts of meaning out of it, which is perpetuating this feeling of anxiety, right? So that's why I want to talk to you about today, because I think it's a really common pattern that I see with a lot of women. A lot of us choose emotionally unavailable partners because it means that we will never have to be loved. And I realize that sounds like a completely messed up thing to say, but stay with me, because men have been conditioned from a really young age not to show their emotions. Real men don't cry. It's that kind of thing, which is completely messed up, and another topic altogether. But as a result of that phenomenon, some men find it really difficult to tap into their emotions and have any kind of emotional intelligence to even understand what it is that they want. Now, whilst that is a phenomenon, what I'm talking about here is a little bit different. It's about our attachment preferences for the type of relationships that we kind of attract. So ultimately, it's about our own value, how we value ourselves, how we feel worthy. And it's about recognizing there's a fear. The fear there is that if I step into the unknown, everything that I fear might actually occur, right? So in the example that I gave of this lady, there are two attachment types that were occurring in that. There's the emotionally distant partner, and then there's the anxious type. So, sorry, is there anybody trying to get in? No. And are we going here? He's seeing me. I'm getting different errors coming up here. I do apologise. Okay. I'm just going to say hello. Yep. Okay, we're in. Just checking that we're there. Sorry. Okay. So people who are anxious, they tend to be people that run after people who don't want to love them, or what's probably better to say is that people who who are running from love. So yeah, people that are anxious tend to run from people who don't want to love them, or are running away from love. And because they express their love by being overly needy or clinging. So people that run from love are likely to run from anxious people, right? So if we think of it like, if you're expressing your emotions, if you're someone who tends to overshare or spill all your emotions onto someone and then get really anxious when they're not texting you back, then you're probably an anxious type of attachment in a relationship. It's an attachment, anxiously attached in a relationship. So people who are emotionally unavailable or avoidant, the people that run from love, they're going to choose anxious people, and anxious people choose avoidant people because they share this same worldview. All right, so let me explain. If for an anxious person, the worldview or the frame that they hold, the belief that they hold, is that when I love people, they're going to leave or they're going to be unavailable. And for people who are avoiding love, their frame or their whole worldview is that when I love people or when I let myself love, I lose myself. And they end up being needy, or they end up loving too much, right? And so can you see that there's the same worldview there? There's the same framing going on there. That they both, what they're both doing is checking. It's a checking for, is this relationship safe and secure enough for me to be me? Can I feel like I can be my authentic self? Am I going to feel safe enough and secure enough in this relationship to do that? So the question becomes, do you feel secure in the relationship or insecure? And if you're insecure, the insecurity will trigger the anxiety or the avoidant behavior. So that's the thing to really, that I really want to talk to today. So if you're anxious, it means that safety and security isn't happening for you right now in that relationship. So you need to ask yourself, what would make me secure right now? What are your needs that are not being met that you need to feel secure with? And you know, my offer here is that one of the defining characteristics of a secure relationship or a secure attached person is that they will know, and they will know intrinsically and often say that their partner's needs are matter as much as their own. So they'll know that intrinsically, not one being more or less than the other. So putting the other needs above their own or putting their own needs above their partner's. There is a beautiful balance that both matter as much as each other's. So just to recap, we're either secure or insecurely attached, and how insecurity shows up is either being avoidant or having this anxiety. So with the goal being that your partner's needs matter as much as your own, they're on a good equal level. Not more is not good and less is not good. Okay, so you can change from being insecure in a relationship to secure in a relationship, and all you have to do is learn how to create security for you, what security means for you. So if you're someone that who runs from love, and you tend to pick people who are emotionally unavailable, you're probably going to have more one-night stands, and that's based on some research. So those emotionally avoidant people tend to have more one-night stands, and they look for people who are potentially just out of relationships. In general, people who are not available in some way or form, right? So if you're feeling insecure in this way, and this is how the behavior is showing up, and then you tell yourself that it's not okay to feel like that, or it's not okay to behave like that, then you may feel some shame about your insecurity. There's going to be some shame moving forward, especially if that behavior is repeated and you're feeling like you're never going to be able to get the kind of relationship that you want, and don't understand why you're constantly attracting these kind of emotionally unavailable people. So the question for you is, if you're feeling insecure, what do you need to feel secure? What do you need to do to feel secure? What do you need? What do you need in that moment to feel it? What do you need to feel like in order to feel that security? What needs to change on the inside for you in order to make the difference? So if you're avoidant and you tend to run away from people who actually love you, the work is really yours. The work here is for you to be able to do for yourself. So you might, the offer is to have and question what it is about love when, maybe if you say this sentence and you finish this sentence for yourself, when I let people love me, when I let people love me back, they will blah 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 blah. Finish the sentence. So it might be something like, when I let people love me back, they're going to lie to me, or they're going to hurt me, they're going to cheat, they're going to do whatever, or all of these kind of frames of reference is what you're holding on to. So it might also be when I love people, what it might be is they don't choose me, or they don't choose me back, or love me in the same level, or love me more than I love me, right? So when I love people, they betray me, they lie to me. This doesn't have to be the whole rational experience. This is just some suggestions of what that end sentence might be for you if you're playing this behavior pattern out. So this is just one set of frameworks and why we're afraid to be close to people, right? So, and again, repeat the question for when I let people love me back, they'll, whatever your response will be, they'll lie to me, or these are some two really important questions, really important sentences, because they get your unconscious understanding out of what outcome you might be avoiding, and in the way that you handle the kind of relationship choices that you're making. So the questions again are, when I love people, they, finish the sentence, or and when I let people love me, they, whatever the finish the sentence for yourself. And that's when you'll get an understanding of what the frames are that you're holding in mind about how you're showing up in relationships. So let's say when I love people, they cheat on me or they betray me, then I'm going to choose people who are naturally I'm not going to allow to get close to me, because I'm not going to feel safe and secure when I'm in those kind of relationships. So that's what I'm pushing away from. That's what I'm avoiding. So I'm not going to want I'm not going to want to be, because I don't want to end up being betrayed. And so there is some kind of irony in all of this. If you begin to open up your heart to that person and you choose someone who you can't really fulfill your needs, or they're not meeting where you're at, then you're going to in turn you're going to be kind of betraying yourself, right? If I'm not going to show up with someone, if I'm not going to be emotionally available with someone because my fear is that I'm going to get betrayed, then this is the irony, because you're betraying your own soul, you're betraying your own contract with yourself to move towards unconditional love and to learn how to relate and be in a relationship. So it's really about asking yourself in the moment, if I love myself, what would I do? And what will start happening is that you'll start to love yourself. And that's when the real shift starts to happen. You'll actually start to believe in yourself, because you'll make choices that reinforce that belief. And that's where that safety and security comes back in. What is it going to take for me to feel safe and secure? And when you feel that the question is, if I loved myself here in this moment, what would I do? It will start to shift and change things for you on such a monumental level. You will actually start to believe in yourself and make choices that really reinforce that belief. And so the key here is to remember that everything you choose, it validates a belief about yourself. So if you're keeping, kind of shady, unhealthy kind of people in your life, and you don't share your opinions or your needs or your feelings, you're sending a message that your feelings and your needs don't matter, that they're not worthy, and that you don't matter. And that's the exact message that you send to yourself on a subliminal level. And when you keep people who are kind of shitty in your life, and you send the message to yourself that you're worthy of just shitty, shady people, and when you say no to these kind of people, when you don't pursue someone who's unavailable, when you actually stop that kind of behavior and you say it's not okay, you send a message to them that you absolutely matter. And you also send a message to yourself that you 100% matter. And that's how you start to change your self-worth. So what we believe about ourselves will be evidenced by what we choose. And what we choose will change what we believe. And so you have to change the choice to change the belief, which can continue in that cycle, right? So it's the belief that we have about ourselves, what we choose, the behaviors that we're showing up, and how we're choosing to be in the world. And so you have to change the choice to change the belief, which will continue to cycle and feed the whole system. So that's really what I wanted to say. So just to recap, really, that if you're attracting emotionally unavailable people, or you're in a relationship where you're feeling like you're being needy, this anxious things that's running, then you're either being in a secure, you're either secure or you're in an insecurely attached relationship. And how that insecurity shows up is either by avoidance or by the anxiety, with the goal being to know that your partner's needs matter as much as your own. That's the difference here. And so there isn't anything on any over and above. And so what's important to you, what's going to make you feel safe in this relationship, or safe in that moment, and by telling yourself and asking yourself, what do I need to do to feel love in this moment? If I loved myself, what would I do? And that will start to shift and change things for you. And so that's really it from me today. I really look forward to hearing your comments and suggestions. And until next time, remember, you are amazing. And I will speak to you in next week's Sunday sessions. Bye for now.